Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that were looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode, episode number 130 today for the British Grand Prix in Season 7. Halfway through this season now, we've got a brand new part fitted to the car, the chassis weight reduction there. Had that obviously on hold for 4 races that it takes to get developed, so that will be another big step for the car. Obviously, the car's in a really good place, but this might just take it right over to the top, and hopefully it can be a good one, as I said, at our home Grand Prix here around Silverstone. But obviously, we're now halfway through the season, so this is sort of the question time now of where are we going to be going? Are we going to be moving away from Mercedes? We've done a lot of work. We've got, multiple wins now under our belt. We had a really good string of results in the last couple episodes until maybe last episode was a little bit annoying in terms of result. We did that 2-stop at Austria versus a lot of people trying the 1-stop. Ultimately, we still finished ahead of our main championship rival, Nico Hülkenberg, but we were beaten by our teammate to the win. But as a whole, for Mercedes, it's been a fantastic run-in for the last few episodes, and so they can't complain. And in terms of reputation level against our main rivals and the rivals that we're trying to maybe get contracts off, Ferrari, namely, we've done a lot of work. That bar has pretty much gone from 0 to nearly halfway on the reputation level, so I think we've done enough here, and so this may well hopefully be the last time we're in this silver arrow. Obviously, we've been here for now a season and a half, but, right now, I need to concentrate on just doing the final job here for the 10th round of this season. We'll forget about everything else, just try and do the job like we have been doing for the last couple episodes, and ultimately that's what's been, getting us the results. Just kind of getting our head down, getting on with it, and we can't really do too much about our situation. So we'll go into qualifying then, and as always, try and push hard. And it's been a really good season for qualifying for us as of late. Multiple pole positions. So let's see if we can get pole in front of our home crowd. The first flying lap, you can see locking up into the village section. So probably not going to be an amazing lap, but definitely can find some time in that first sector then without that lockup. But we're going to finish off the lap anyway and see what it gets us across the line then. And for now, it's not going to be fast enough to even beat Max Verstappen. So we'll go again as we go through the first few corners, losing a little bit of time actually with the momentum there through the first few turns. But then into village here now, we still lock up, but not as badly as before. We didn't go as deep into that right-hander as before. Just the lock up kind of just helped us rotate the car somewhat a little bit as we're trying to slow down the car massively after braking as late as possible. And then through Magnus and Beckett's, we found some more time here. And I've got to say, just away from the actual lap itself, just generally, these Season 7 cars are mental around Silverstone. Like the downforce levels, I'm guessing for every car already by now in Season 7 is so high, and it's so satisfying to drive these cars now around Silverstone. That's saying a lot about saying the Mercedes is a nice car to drive, as I've maintained a lot of the time now, ever since we joined the Silver Arrows a season and a half ago. This car is a bit of a doll compared to every other car already in the game. It just doesn't handle very well usually, but even this car is pretty damn nice around Silverstone. But we come across the line, and even though we did gain a lot of time there, unfortunately not enough to get a pole position. That goes to our main championship rival, Nico Hülkenberg, in first place there. But we do get second, just close behind, and Hamilton not too far behind there. So a very close actually top 4 there, with also Jolyon Palmer in P4. So definitely a fight between the Renaults and the Mercedes in qualifying at least. We'll see how it goes in the race, but we move on then. It's overcast conditions, typical kind of the British weather, but from the front row, I think we have a very good chance to maybe win this race. But the big plus obviously is, once again, Ferrari seem to be quite down the order in terms of pace, so it should comfortably be getting quite a bit of reputation level on them by the end of this race, and so hopefully that'll be the kind of last little bit we need to do to get a mid-season contract for them, or really any other team, really, honestly. It might be, Red Bull, Williams, Force India. I don't really know. I don't really mind too much. I just want a bit of a choice in terms of moving away from the Silver Arrows. Obviously, as I mentioned at the very start of the season, a little bit gutted we didn't get that contract. So here we go then. Let's go to the full grid then, and then we'll head into the British Grand Prix, our final race for Mercedes, hopefully.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Great work from Nico Hülkenberg yesterday sees him start on pole, and a Mercedes alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Palmer, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez, Verstappen, Vettel, Ocon and Kimi Raikkonen, Massa, Sainz, Fernando Alonso and Kvyat, Stroll, Van Dorn, Pascal Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson. Magnussen and Roman Grosjean starts from the back of the grid. And now, it's time to head down to the track.
So onto the starting grid, then you can see Hulkenberg there on the left of us on pole position. But looking ahead to the race strategy, then it's going to be a one stop by default from super soft tyres to the mediums. There is that two stop that is only apparently 2 seconds slower. So we will see about what Hulkenberg does ultimately, and then probably try and cover him off and or Hamilton. But as we have done for quite a lot of races now, we'll try and just work it on the fly. Really, there's no point kind of committing early, on paper to a strategy. We'll see how it goes in the race. But then here we go then to that race to 5. Red lights to the British Grand Prix, and we're underway, and that's a lot of wheel spin in first gear there off the starting lights, and then into turn 1, Hamilton ahead of us. We're going to make a little bit of contact, and that was very, very gingerly into turn 1 there from us, and we nearly had a bit of a spin moment there. I could feel it on my wheel for sure, on the vibration there. The back end was starting to get a little bit loose, but ultimately we do keep it ahead of him in second place, and it's only just a tiny bit of a love tap really on Hamilton. I'm sure Toto Wolff probably cringing a little bit on his pit wall there, but no harm done. Hamilton's still in third place ahead of the Red Bull there. Palmer has lost 1 place then to the Red Bull because he's down in 5th place then, but we'll try and now catch on to Hulkenberg, who had a fantastic start off pole. So for me saying we can fight for the win at the moment, Hulkenberg looking good, and we're having a bit of a moment there on the exit of Luffield then, so we need to get our composure back here a little bit on these super soft tyres and try and chase after Hulkenberg through Copse there, just about flat out in 8th gear on the heavy fuel, but the downforce of these season 7 cars really helping as we go through Maggots and Beckett's. Then you can see catching up to Hulkenberg somewhat and through the right hand, and then trying to get the power down as early as we dare, and then trying to avoid the grass on the left with our front left tyre. And now in the slipstream, Rich Mick's going. You can see we are gaining quite a bit, so that Mercedes power, the upgrades we've done early on in the season, and just now to the chassis weight reduction, remember, is going to help not only in the corners mid-apex for the car to be very manoeuvrable, but also that chassis weight reduction is also just going to help the acceleration out of these corners, and then ultimately also maybe the top end speed of this car. So the chassis weight reduction upgrade for this race is going to help out on all fronts and might really help us now to make this overtake count as we go up into Rich Mix again. Purple second sector there, and this time round, second time lucky in lap 2. Here we go to the right hand side, going to go back to the racing line, and it's going to be a pretty damn easy move actually, very straightforward overtake for first place there. And you can see just the dominant factor of this Mercedes car. We have really turned it into quite something. Obviously it still has its moments, and even in this race I will admit it wasn't completely perfect in terms of its driving. A few little moments here where the car is just a little bit much of a handful compared to maybe other cars would be in certain situations, but when everything's going right and the setup's on point, the car is at the moment a very beast of a car, really. No other way to actually put it, trying to find the words to correctly kind of frame everything. But now we move on to lap 6. Nothing really has happened. Yellow flags behind us though. We're in first still, Hulkenberg still second, and Hamilton third, and pretty much all of us just staying put with the same kind of gaps. So everyone kind of pushing each other to the limits there, but we've got a big yellow flag now, and it's actually the full course safety car then. So we're going to come straight in then for our pit stop, and in the moment I decided to go onto medium tyres, so I'm going to commit now with this safety car to the one stop. Now it's a little bit early. The one stop would have been pitting around lap 11, but we're on lap 6, so 5 laps early, but think about it, we're going to be under the safety car for 3 laps now. So lap 9 is going to be the first time we really start pushing these tyres, so they should go the distance. But I will say right now we have a bit of an issue here, being held up quite a bit there in the pit lane. So that is the only issue with being the lead man coming to the pit lane, is that you've got a whole gaggle of cars right in front of you that are obviously making their pit stops, and as a result of that, I've come out behind Hulkenberg now as we go down the pit lane to the pit exit then. So under the safety car and on the exit of the yellow flags and onto the green flag on lap 9, I'll have to re-overtake Hulkenberg basically. But you can see clearly on the top left, Hulkenberg is on super soft. So if I'm going to the end, and Hulkenberg you would say is not going to be taking super soft to the end of this race, pretty much I'm already guaranteed that I will be finishing ahead of Hulkenberg, because there's no way I don't think he's going to make up one entire pit stop with an extra pit stop on there. I'm confident that my pace isn't going to be that bad on worn mediums at the end of this race that he's going to be able to do that. So really, I'm in the money here in terms of beating my championship rival, just about if we can maybe go on to win this race. So on the green flag then, on the exit of the safety car up here, we actually pounce on Hulkenberg early. We go side by side through the second last corner to the last corner, trying to make this move early as we can. Obviously, we don't even need to make make this move. As I said, he's going to make an extra pit stop, but we made it anyway. And now behind us, his teammate Palmer has gone for the move as well, and there's been a contact there. Oh no, Palmer's off, and Hulkenberg, I think, has made some contact with his teammate there, and it's commiserations then for Palmer, and a huge embarrassing moment for Renault there, as their two teammates made contact into turn 1 on the just as we got underway, and so they tripped over each other, and Hulkenberg's lost a lot of time there, and so we already made the overtake before that, so that had nothing to do with me, but I was looking behind me for sure. It was very entertaining to see, and surprising to see Palmer just spew off into the distance, into the wall. And then now we've got yellow flags behind us, and now Hamilton is the one behind us. Palmer, confirmation he's out of the race, but now Hulkenberg is no longer the man behind us. I can't even see his car. There's a huge gap behind Hamilton. I don't know what's going on. I have a feeling Hulkenberg's had issues as well. So is this a big calamity moment for Renault, as now Hamilton's right up my gearbox? Yellow flags. Has Hulkenberg had an issue there as well then? Because he's nowhere to be seen. I can't see a yellow car in the distance when I look behind me. But whatever the case is now, I'm going to try and make some overtakes now to try and get up into the lead of this Grand Prix. We've got a lot of slower cars, obviously all these guys midfield runners, and we dive down the inside of two cars there into Stowe, and we're up into P3 now. Two cars left to make passes on Ericsson and then Lance Stroll. That shouldn't be too much of a difficulty there, but before we move on to the overtake on Ericsson and Stroll hopefully in the next lap, we're going to quickly look at the replay then and suss out what completely went on there. Firstly, that incident with Palmer. Obviously I overtook Hulkenberg already at this stage. Palmer fancied to overtake Hulkenberg as well and catch him napping into turn 1, and it looks like almost it's like a recreation of the contact I had with Hamilton, but Palmer unfortunately this time, unlike me, could not hold his car and he completely span it. So it just shows actually the contact I made with Lewis at the start of this race could have turned out a lot more worse, a lot more nastier than what it actually ended up being. And then we look at a replay now of Hamilton on Hulkenberg. Hamilton goes for a move now, looks like, on the right hand side, and this is just about when the yellow flags occurred. So is there an issue? Lock up from Hulkenberg, and then he goes for a spin, and Hamilton is actually the one that spun him out there. Let's look at our onboard now, because that replay camera wasn't exactly quite clear. So Hamilton goes for a move, and that is so unlucky for Hulkenberg. I tell you what, that is the worst luck you could ever hope for, really, in terms of the contact made there. Hamilton going for the move on the outside. Hulkenberg did lock up before any contact was made, so in fairness, he didn't help himself in terms of barging into Lewis's left rear tyre, but then it was the case of Hamilton tightening up so much into the entry of the Luffield section that he just spun Hulkenberg round. So Palmer already out of this race. Hulkenberg not out, but he's pretty much out the points and way down the order now off that spin, because he had to let the entire grid through. And even worse, that the safety car was just out that previous lap, because it meant all the cars were so much closer to overtake him. So he pretty much is probably stone dead last right now at this point in the Grand Prix. And as you can see there, we made an overtake on Ericsson down the inside of Copse, and that was a very nice move. We're up into second place, and now we close up to Lance Stroll. But remember, we're on medium tyres, and we've seen all these guys have been on soft tyres. I think Hamilton was on soft as well. Hulkenberg was on super soft, so as I mentioned, even if he didn't have that issue of spinning, an issue with his teammate, both Renaults were going to make one more stop in this race compared to me. And so as I make a very easy and similar move like I did on Hulkenberg, we faked to left, went to the right hand side, overtook him before he even got to brake zone of Stowe there, Lance Stroll. We're up into first place, but now it's a case of just, going about our business, just driving to the Delta time and really just relaxing a little, because we're going to have an entire pit stop on everyone. It looks like no one is trying what, albeit is quite a bold one stop, but as I said, there's good reason to do this, because we came in on lap 6, we're on the safety car for 3 laps, so there was only like 2-3% in it of tyre wear, and then we just get going, and we know how good the hard tyre, the medium tyres are in terms of the hardness of the rubber. It means they just don't wear out that much. They may not have the performance. I might actually end up being a second slower by the end of this race, but if we're 25 seconds ahead with only 10 laps to go, they're going to have to be a lot better than a second faster than me every single lap. And now we've got a few yellow flags as there's a bit of an issue with the entry in the pit lane, I think that is, but you can see up ahead Perez on super softs there, and Verline now in third place, so not even the familiar faces are the ones in second and third. Now Raikkonen looks like he's overtaken Verline, so Raikkonen's into third, so maybe for once the Ferrari will be getting near to the podium. Of course, it's been a pretty woeful season Ferrari so far in season 7, but it looks like Perez and Raikkonen still stay put in second and third. But as we come through, I think they're now coming to the pit lane, so now it's going to be Raikkonen up into second. Then you got Wehrlein back into third place there. Now he's going to get up to second because I think Raikkonen's coming in for his pit stop. So there you go. It's now Wehrlein in second once again, and Ericsson. It's a 2-3 for the Saubers. Just showing you how just bonkers the strategies are in terms of all these top cars making that 2-stop, and so they have to re-overtake all these cars. And now by the time we get to lap 18, with less than 10 laps to go then, Perez now into second place eventually, and it's gonna actually be Vettel that will get into third. They're a whole 25 seconds behind me, and I'm still on mediums, and I can tell you the tyre wear is not bad at all. I don't think I've shown the tyre on the heads-up display at this video yet, but it's pretty much non-existent, and it's going to be a very easy walk then as we go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. And so this is going to be pretty much the most dominant display I've ever had in a career mode, really, in terms of a result. All due to just a clever way to go about the race in terms of picking the medium tyres on the safety car and just not having to bother with another pit stop. And so across the line we've come, and we're into first place, and we've won our British home Grand Prix then, and we trounced the field. Ferrari obviously did pretty well. Obviously no Renaults, and Hamilton went down the order, so Vettel did get a surprise third place there. But once again, we beat both Ferraris, so we should get a decent chunk on the reputation level. And actually, with this, Perez might find himself into the championship fight here, because Hulkenberg, I don't know if he got any points. I think he might have just got one at the end there. But Perez with that second place, I think he wasn't too far behind, and he's had some pretty consistent races as of late, the Mexican. So I think he might be finding himself in the championship hunt soon enough. But as we bang the champagne bottles with Vettel, could we be, his teammate next race? I'm hoping so. But as we go through to the results then, just kind of showing you, there is Hulkenberg then. So actually, to be fair, he did get 7th place in the end. So actually, pretty, fair enough. Good recovery there for the German. But if we move on to the standings, I think you'll find that now Perez is the one in second place, and Hulkenberg is in third. So just like that, in like a flick of the switch, Perez is in the championship hunt now, and Hulkenberg is no longer the only sole man I'm fighting. But we obviously extend our advantage there. Same for the constructors, as Force India also now find themselves in second place in the standings. So now we come to the business end of the video then. The thing I've been working towards for 10 episodes to get the reputation level as high as I can, especially for Ferrari. You can see it's so high, especially with this last final win at the home Grand Prix then. But as you can clearly see, we're not in the agent's office.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So for the second time now in this career mode, I have been absolutely finessed by the F1 game, and I do not have a contract offer. I have won multiple races this season. I'm leading the entire thing by a huge margin. I could be my own constructors team and still beat Ferrari. That's I just want to put that into context. I could be my own constructor without Hamilton's help, and I could still be beating Scuderia Ferrari, and yet they do not want to try and sign me and pull me away from the Silver Arrows. Yeah, I'm amazed at this. I don't know if it's a glitch. I don't know if something's broken in my save now, and I just won't be getting any offers at all from now on. I might have to kill myself if that's the case by the end of this season. But now, for the rest of Season 7, I'm stuck in this stupid silver car, which obviously, yes, I said was working very well this race, but you just know next race is going to be horrendous. It's Hungary. It's not a circuit for the Mercedes car. It's definitely a circuit for the likes of Ferrari and Renault, probably. And so that's going to be a tough one next episode. But I'm lost for words. I worked so hard. This has been the only motivation for me to push as hard as I have been for these last 10 rounds in terms of trying to win all these races, as many as I have done also, and getting all the poles as well to help that. It's because I was working towards wanting to move away from this stupid team halfway through the season. But no, looks like I'm stuck here. I am stuck here. But either way, guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, smash the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I've been Aarava. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I guess I'll see you guys next time in the Silver Arrow once again. Goodbye.